Hello everybody, Christian here, bringing you a new deck profile or just an update for my Thunder Empire deck post Chaos Control Crisis. So let's get to it. Our first card right here, our buddy, is Demon Lord Dragon Batzz. Now for the rest of the deck, we run one copy of Armored Deity, or I should say Modernized Dragon Deity Dynamis. It's a 6/2/7 with a call cost of put the top 2 cards of your deck into this card's soul, and then you pay 3 gauge. While you do that, because its abilities of this card on the field cannot be nullified by your opponent's card effects, which is very good against Style of Justice decks and Star decks. You know, anything that's trying to nullify your card's abilities, this is a good counter. And then if you have an item equipped, this card gets plus 2,000 power and penetrate and counterattack, which is great because it has moved and double attack and already built-in soul guard. So with that, you can just move it to center, and if they try to attack you, you just counterattack, destroy, and then like with the 2 souls, it's very good. Now off to our size 2s. So I run 4 copies of Demon Lord Dragon Batzz, the buddy of the deck. If you do not know, he's a 4/2/7. You pay a gauge. During your turn, this card on your field cannot be destroyed. At the beginning of your attack phase, for this turn, this card gets double attack. If you have 4 life or less, for this turn, this card gets plus 3,000 power and triple attack instead. So with that, you just call him out, and this is why Thunder Empire is a very strong deck, because it's about high risk and high reward. So, I'm at 4 life or less, and then you just smack your opponent. So you gotta be also careful if your opponent has an impact and they just finish you off. And we run another size 2, Unyielding Rampage Dragon Batzz. 4/3/7. Pay a gauge. During your turn, this card on the field cannot be destroyed, just like the first Batzz right here. And when this card attacks and destroys your opponent's monster, stand this card. So you can just you can field wipe your opponent's whole setup. So that's amazing. If you have 4 life or less, this card can attacks gonna be nullified if it's attacking alone, which is also good. So there's that. So just call them out, and then you just keep attacking, wipe people's fields, and then just make them cry. Now off to our size 1s. Around 4 copies of Misfiring Demon Globes. Very good card. Good pressure unit. 1/1/3. Its skill is split reward. When another Thunder Empire enters your field, put the top card of your deck into the gauge and draw 1 card once per turn. And when this card attacks for this turn, give a card on your field plus 1 crit. So basically a good combo, just like call bots, and after you already called Misfiring, gain a gauge, draw a card, and when you go attack phase, attack for 1, give bots plus 1 crit, 3 and 3. That's a good thing you can do. Another good size 1 here is Pentar. Replenisher Pentar. 1/2/3. When this card enters the field, you have a Thunder Empire item equipped, you draw a card. So a cool thing you can do is to have an item equipped, call Misfiring Globes, call Pentar, gain a gauge, draw a card, and draw another card because of Pentar. Making sure that you don't lose hand and you keep drawing and fishing out cards. And then on the other size 1, run 2 copies of Famed Warfare Deviser Fawning. 1/3/2. You pay a gauge. During your turn, all Thunder Empire cards on your field cannot be rested nor returned to hand by your opponent's card effects, which makes it so now your opponent's like, crap, I don't really have a counter to your bots or anything like that. So you call this out. If your opponent has any resters, you call them first, and you call bots afterwards. So now that's all for size 1s. Now for our size 0s, just 1 copy of Tiny Flame Dragon Linear. So 1/2/2, and this card can only call to center. At the end of battle of this card, return this card to your hand. You attack for 2, and then you open your center for your item to attack. All right, now for talking about items, that's what's next. 4 copies of Demon Lord Sword Dragoroyale. 2/3. Pay life. If you have a monster with Batzz card on the field, that card and this card get plus 6,000 power, making this weapon 9,000 power and 2 crit. And when this card attacks, you have 4 life or less. For this turn, this card gets double attack, which is great. So you and Batzz are going to wreak havoc on your opponent on your turn. And no walls can stop you, pretty much. Well, depending. And then 2 copies of Archdragon Sword. 2/6, pay 1 gauge. This card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and all Thunder Empire on your field get plus 2,000 power. All monsters, which is good. You know, give Linear has a 4,000 then, so 2 plus the 2,000 from this. Destroy a little tiny wall and then just go from there. Well, that's all of our items. Now for our spells. So I run 4 copies of Batzz X Link. So basically, after you attack 3 times, you can cast this card. You look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You choose 1 from among them, and you put the other 2 into your gauge, and you gain a life. Very good card to keep consistency going, and also lets you do some top deck plays pretty well. Another spell right here is run 4 copies of Archdragon Shield. So during your turn, you gotta have a Thunder Empire on your field. You pay a gauge, nullify the attack, and you draw a card. So hey, drawing is very good in this deck. You just love it. And then a staple, like in every Dragon World deck, 4 copies of Blue Dragon Shield, nullify the attack, and then an attack during your opponent's turn, and then you gain a gauge. Keeping your, you have gauge. It's good. Cult cards. Then, an awesome card that came out in Chaos Control Crisis, Battz X Again. Pay a gauge, stand your bots. That's pretty much it. Someone rests your bots, well, you stand him back up and wail him, or get an extra attack with bots, which is very good. And then 2 copies of Green Dragon Shield. Nullify an attack during your opponent's turn and gain a life. Though I might want to change this to Blade Dragon Shield, because it's like Archdragon Shield, but a little bit more, gotta be more technical with it, I guess. And then 2 Hidden Bomber, or Dragon Spell Hiding Bomber, actually. You only cast this during your opponent's turn. You pay a gauge, counter either destroy or return a monster with 5,000 defense or less. So a lot of people use it against bots if they have it in their deck, or you can use it during your turn to return bots. That's where I usually target, so you can call them again next turn and attack your opponent. And then 1 copy of Thunder X Attract. I actually would like to play more in this deck, but you pay a life, choose one of the following 2. You pay a gauge and put up to 1 Thunder Empire item from your deck into your hand, or put up to 1 Thunder Empire monster or Dragon World monster or impact from your drop zone into your hand, which is great. You're like, oh no, my impact is in my drop zone because you milled it out. Well, I just return it, and then I will just end you right now. And then 1 copy in the name of the Thunder Empire. You pay 2 life, and you can call 2. Choose 2 Thunder Empire monsters from your drop zone and call them by separate areas by paying their call cost. You can only do one once per turn. The only reason I have this card at 1 is because you can easily get punished by it, because you're losing 2 life, but although you're still calling 2 monsters from your drop zone, which is great. That's it for our spell lineup. Now for our impact. 3 copies of Thunderlance X Tempest Buster. So every Dragon World deck I've seen has been pretty much basically playing this impact because it's very generic and very strong. So What does it do? You may only cast this card if your opponent's life is a 5 or less. If you have attacked 3 or more times during this turn, and neither your opponent has a monster in the center, link attacks only count as 1 attack. You pay 3 gauge and deal 5 damage to your opponent, and this cannot be nullified, and the damage cannot be reduced. If your opponent's life becomes 0 because of this card, they can't change their life, so it's unrevivable. So you insta win with this card, unless they counter like gain 3 life during the casting of this card, and that's a different story. But that's pretty much it. But that's my Thunder Empire deck. Some changes I would do to it: I probably increase Thunder X Attract. I might bump up Dynamis by 1 or add it to the sideboard, depending. It also depends on your locals, how they play and all that. So I really don't have to worry about increasing Dynamis by 1 more or not. I'm just very happy how the outcome of this deck has grown pretty much. And it's gone stronger and stronger ever since XBTO 1 and then Alternate 1. So everything has been very good. Anyway, thank you for watching very much. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment below, hit the bell for notifications, and see you next time.
We want to thank our sponsor, Frost Giants Games, for making this show possible. Frost Giants Games is Wisconsin's game store of choice for board games, Magic the Gathering, and other card games. Check them out at www.frostgiantgames.com.